Blackberries are coming into season, and I love harvesting blackberries to make this blackberry jam. It's also a great recipe if you find a small amount of fruit in the supermarket that's going out of code and you don't want to waste it. This is perfect because you can do it with any amount of fruit, large or small. Let's get jamming. Place your pot on a scale and then add your berries to the pot. Make sure you've tared the scale before you add the berries. I'm using frozen berries for this recipe, but you can also use fresh. A traditional jam is 1 part fruit to 1 part sugar, but I find that to be really sweet. So I tend to do a 4:3 ratio, 4 parts fruit to 3 parts sugar. So if you're using 400 grams of blackberries, you'll need 300 grams of sugar. Whatever the number on your scale, divide it by 4 and then times it by 3. And that's how much sugar you'll need. That means I need 464 grams of sugar. Be sure to reset your scale to 0 and then add in your sugar. Ooh, not quite enough. Let's get some more sugar. And look at that, I measured it perfectly. You'll also need half a tablespoon, around 8 milliliters of lemon juice for every 100 grams of fruit. So in this case, with 400 grams of blackberries, you'd need 2 tablespoons or 30 milliliters of lemon juice. So because I have just over 600 grams of fruit, I'm adding in 3 tablespoons or 45 grams of the lemon juice. I also like to pop my lemon peels in with the mixture just to add a little bit more lemony flavor. So make sure you're using organic, unwaxed lemons or wash them very, very well. You can season your jam with anything you want. You can leave that out completely, but I really love cinnamon and blackberry together. But you could always switch it up and add in a bay leaf or some thyme. Or why not go crazy and add some clove and nutmeg and make it a more festive jam? The options are endless and they're completely customizable.
I'm adding in 2 cinnamon sticks for flavor. Now give it all a good stir so that everything's coated with the sugar.
I find by letting the ingredients sit in the pot overnight, you get a smoother consistency to your jam. If you don't mind having big lumps in your jam or you haven't got time to let it sit overnight, it's not a mandatory step. I just really prefer it that way. Pop on a lid and go to bed. Good morning, jam. You're nice and juicy. Most of the sugar has dissolved into the juice from the berries. That's going to give us a slightly smoother jam because the berries have already started to break down. If you wanted it smoother still, while it's boiling, you can mash it with a potato masher. Set your pan onto medium-high heat so that it starts to come up to a boil. My jam jars are sterilizing in the oven. I've popped my link for that video in the description below if you'd like to do it yourself. Once it starts to boil, set your timer for 7 minutes. With just about a minute left, I'm gonna fish out my lemon and my cinnamon. And my berries have broken down pretty well, but I'm still going to give them a gentle mash. Hardly anything left to mash in there at all. I've popped a small plate in my refrigerator to test for the consistency of the jam. This is a great way to know if your jam is done without a thermometer. But I'd highly recommend getting an instant read kitchen thermometer anyway. They're not very expensive and they'll take your bakes and cooking to the next level.
If you're using a thermometer, make sure to take the temperature somewhere between the middle and edge of your pan. This will give you the most accurate reading.
If you run your finger up into the jam and it still starts to drip down the way that mine is doing here, it's not quite set yet. Bingo. See how it stopped and it hasn't dripped all the way back down? Our jam is set. I fill my jam jars while they're still hot, and this prevents thermal shock. We don't want any cracking of jars. When that hot jam hits the hot glass, you're going to be safe.
Carefully screw on your hot lids.
You can absolutely water bath your jars once they're filled with your jam to seal them, but I find the heat from the jam tends to do it for me. I cover mine up with a kitchen towel so they don't cool too quickly, and they tend to seal perfectly every time.
It's the perfect consistency without having to add any additional pectins. It's amazing on toast or in bakes, and I love it because you just need a small amount of fruit. But you could absolutely scale this recipe up to make as much jam as you'd like.
If you've made too much jam, is there such a thing? You have to use this blackberry jam and my blackberry crumble bars. Just swap out the fresh or frozen fruit for a little bit of the jam and it will come out perfectly. If you found this video helpful, please head down below, hit the like button or the hype button, and let me know your favorite fruit to make jam with. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.